In order to get to the true endgame in NGS, which is fashion, you must have meseta, or just a good credit card, but since this is a tutorial video, let's learn about meseta farms. Hello, I'm Helena and today I'll teach you how to farm meseta in deck space in PSO2 NGS. I hope you guys like the video, and if you do, consider subscribing to this channel to see more. With that being said, let's get into it. The only two things you will need are a leveled up Waker class and technique gear. If you're a Waker main, you can use your current setup and proceed to the next part of the video. If you never touched Waker class, don't worry, you'll literally just need to press one button during the whole farm. For the weapon, you can use a Sectional Harmonizer with Fixa on Wix level 5, it must be Fixa on Wix if you're using a Sectional Harmonizer. You can also use the latest available weapon in the moment you're watching this video. For me it's the Acrocelio weapon. It's desirable that you have Fixa on Wix level 5 or the highest possible, but if you don't have it, Attack or Fatale should do the trick. For armors, if you play a technique class, you can use your current armors, otherwise, the free ones are good to go. At the moment I'm recording this video, it's the Decim armor. It's super important that you deal at least 2,883 damage on the small mobs, which is the needed amount to kill them in one hit. This way will make the farm much more efficient. But the more damage you deal the best, since you will be able to one-shot even the toughest mobs. With the gear part out of the way, let's talk about the skill tree. It's nothing complex, you just need to pick up every single point and the remaining ones you put on Retro Friends and Resta Effect Continuance. Piece of cake. The main and only photon art you'll use is Fredran Breath. Please make sure to not hold the PA button, just spam it when you see a group of mobs. And for more optimal results, press C to use the OTS camera. This is because the Fredran Breath has a huge vertical hitbox, which will make it easier to hit mobs even if you're higher than them. Just spam it when you see mobs and you should be good to go. To solve PP issues, use Force subclass or the EX Enemy Felt PP Gain Augment in your Harmonizer. Use the minimap to track groups of enemies and slay them as fast as possible. When you hit 4 PSE bars, aim to a trial as quick as possible, and only do trials when the PSE gauge is at 4 bars. This way when you complete the trial it'll be guaranteed to trigger a PSE burst. For trials, swap to Force or just use Waker to defeat the boss as quick as possible and enjoy the PSE burst. Now let's put all that in action. You should always farm in deck space rank 1, with level 65 mobs, not rank 2 because you'll not have enough damage to kill mobs in one hit, and Starless make the farm more difficult. Well, once you are in deck space, it's basically just PSE farming, but here goes some useful tips. Right now we are in storm weather, which means that the PSE burst bars will never go below 4 bars until the storm ends. This way you can rush mobs and trials until you get a PSE burst and repeat it as long as the storm lasts. If you see 2 trials at the same time, it is what we call chaos. These trials can be done with 3 PSE bars and they'll still trigger a PSE burst when completed. During the PSE burst, just jump a little bit and spam Fredran Breath until it finishes. Please make sure to check if it's covering the whole PSE burst. With the core mechanics out of the way, here are a few tips to optimize your farm. Always try to use auto-sell items when dex farming. The mobs usually drop trash when they die, and it can fill up your inventory pretty quick, especially if it's a PSE burst forte, and you'll lose some time after the burst manually selling stuff. With auto-sell, the stuff you get you'll be automatically converted into meseta and you don't need to worry. Another useful tip is always pop up and meseta boosts, as well as rare drop rate boosts. This way you can earn more raw meseta from drops and also drop more loot that will be converted into meseta, making your profit bigger. If you're farming with friends or alliance, when a trial spawns you can organize to have a person to let it with one mob left or an almost killed boss. That way, when the PSE gauge reaches 4 bars, the trial will be completed in a sec and you guys will have PSE bursts more often. It's also super important to pay attention to the PSE gauge, because it can suddenly drop to 3 bars even after a trial starts, so if it drops, step back and kill some mobs until you get 4 bars again. Well, but how about the profit? How much meseta can we make per hour with this farm? Well, it'll depend if you're farming solo or with a full room, with friends or alliance or with randoms, with or without boosts. In average, you can get from 900,000 to 1.3 million meseta per hour, depending on how you're farming. If there's a seasonal event going on, you can farm for seasonal points while you make meseta. This is the best free-to-play way to make meseta in the game currently, followed by crafting and reselling augment capsules, which can take longer and requires you to run dual quests. But why Dex base? Does this method work on other combat sectors? The answer is, yes, kinda. It does work on other low-rank combat sectors, but it'll be much less efficient than Dex base. Dex base has a longer PSE burst and the monsters are concentrated in a smaller space, so it's easier to clear the whole area. Dex also doesn't have Starless or Rorox, those fat dolls, which would make the process much slower. So that's why Dex base is the best place to farm for money, but you can also try Retamal Node if you don't have enough level to go to Dex base. You don't need to be super hardcore and do 8 hours per day of Dex farming in order to be able to get some meseta. Just be consistent, do 1 or 2 hours of farm, and this way you'll not get exhausted or burned out of the game. And that's it for today. I hope you guys can get super rich and be able to enjoy PSO2 NGS true endgame fashion. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.